Imagine a man standing in a storm. Around him, everything is chaotic. The winds are howling, people are panicking, and emotions are running wild. But he stands still, calm, focused, controlled. That man is emotionally dangerous, not because he hurts people, but because nobody can control him. He does not react like everyone else. He chooses his response. That is power. That is emotional intelligence. And if you can learn to control your emotions like this, you will become someone who cannot be broken, manipulated, or defeated by stress, anger, rejection, or fear. Today, we will show you a powerful brain hack to help you do that. Watch till the end and learn how to become emotionally strong, emotionally smart, and yes, emotionally dangerous in the best way. What does it mean to be emotionally dangerous? Let's begin by exploring what it truly means to be emotionally dangerous. This phrase might sound intense or even negative at first, but when you look deeper, it carries a powerful truth. Being emotionally dangerous does not mean being cold, violent, cruel, or heartless. It doesn't mean you hurt others or shut off your feelings. No, the real meaning is very different. Being emotionally dangerous means you are no longer weak to emotional manipulation. It means your emotions do not control your actions. You do. You're no longer a puppet pulled by invisible emotional strings. You feel deeply, but you do not fall apart. You experience pain, but you don't drown in it. You can handle rejection, failure, insults, and disappointment without losing your mind, your peace, or your dignity. In a world where people are easily offended, easily triggered, and easily broken, being emotionally stable is rare and powerful. When most people are yelling, you're thinking. When most people are panicking, you're breathing. When most people are running away, you're standing strong. That makes you emotionally dangerous, because you are calm in the middle of emotional chaos. And that kind of strength is attractive. It draws respect. It builds trust. People know they can rely on you because you don't react impulsively. You think before you speak. You act with purpose. You remain grounded even when others are falling apart. Now let's be honest. Most people are emotionally reactive. They are like a switch. You push a button and boom, they explode. If someone insults them, they shout back. If someone ignores them, they feel broken and seek attention. If they fail, they stop trying. Their emotions drive every decision. They are not in control. Their emotions are. And because of that, they live in a constant cycle of emotional highs and lows. They ride the wave of feelings but never learn how to swim. They blame others for how they feel. He made me angry, they say. She made me cry. But the truth is, nobody can control your emotions unless you give them permission. Being emotionally dangerous means taking back that permission. It means owning your inner world. It means saying, I decide how I feel. I choose how I respond. This is emotional intelligence at its highest level, not reacting, but responding with clarity and power. You stop being a victim of your emotions and start becoming the master of them. You stop needing approval. You stop needing to be right all the time. You become secure in your identity. You realize that peace, confidence, and self-respect are not things others give you. They are things you build for yourself, from the inside out. Now let's take it deeper. Being emotionally dangerous also means you don't avoid emotions. You face them. You don't suppress pain. You sit with it, learn from it, and use it as fuel. You don't escape sadness. You understand it and grow stronger through it. You don't run from fear. You walk through it and become braver. This is the path of the emotionally strong. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You don't need to never feel anger. You just need to express it wisely. You don't need to be a robot. You just need to be the one driving the machine. And here's the beautiful part. Once you develop this emotional strength, everything in life changes. Your relationships improve because you stop reacting out of insecurity. Your work improves because you stay calm under pressure. Your confidence grows because you are no longer afraid of emotional discomfort. You start living with clarity, purpose, and inner peace. That is what makes you dangerous, not in a harmful way, but in a powerful way. So if you're here right now, listening or reading this, understand this one truth. You're already on the path. You want to be stronger. You want to grow. You want to be the kind of person who walks into a room and brings calm, not chaos, who brings strength, not noise. And that journey begins with emotional intelligence. It begins with learning how to respond, not react. It begins with facing your emotions instead of escaping them. Because when you do that, you will no longer be easily broken. You will no longer be controlled by other people's opinions. You will no longer be triggered by every little problem. You will become emotionally dangerous. Calm, confident, controlled, unshakable. And that is the kind of power the world truly needs. Emotional intelligence, the secret weapon. Emotional intelligence is not just a soft skill. It is not just about being nice or avoiding conflict. It is a core power that determines how you experience life. Emotional intelligence, often called EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, and to recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. It is one of the most important abilities you can develop, and yet it is often overlooked. But make no mistake, emotional intelligence is a secret weapon. It can open doors that intelligence alone cannot. It can save relationships, calm chaos, and help you become the kind of person people trust, follow, and admire. So what does emotional intelligence look like in real life? It's the ability to stay calm when someone disrespects you. It's the wisdom to pause and breathe when you feel angry instead of shouting. It's the strength to feel sadness or fear without being overwhelmed. It's the awareness to notice when your friend or coworker is hurting, even when they say they're fine. And it's the skill to respond to others with empathy instead of judgment. People with high emotional intelligence don't get offended easily. They don't need constant validation. They don't fall apart when life gets hard. Instead, they use their emotions as tools, not traps. Now let's be real. Life is not easy. Every day you deal with pressure, people, problems, and pain. And it's not always about logic. You may know what the right thing is, but your emotions pull you in a different direction. Maybe you want to stay focused, but stress makes you anxious. Maybe you want to be kind, but anger takes control. Maybe you want to keep going, but discouragement makes you give up. That's where emotional intelligence comes in. It's the bridge between what you know and what you do. It's the ability to control your inner world so that the outer world doesn't break you. Think about it. In your job, emotional intelligence helps you work under pressure, communicate with coworkers, and bounce back from failure. In your relationships, it helps you listen better, avoid unnecessary fights, and express love more clearly. In your personal life, it helps you handle stress, keep healthy habits, and stay motivated. Your IQ might get you hired, but your EQ will help you grow, lead, and thrive. That's why studies show that people with high emotional intelligence are often more successful, not because they're smarter, but because they're more stable. Here's the best part. Emotional intelligence is not something you're born with or without. It's not like height or eye color. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained. You can build your EQ just like you build muscles in the gym. With the right habits, the right mindset, and daily practice, you can become emotionally stronger, wiser, and more in control. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to start. And today, you are going to learn a powerful brain hack that will help you take the first step. A simple method that, if practiced daily, can help you slow down your reactions, think more clearly, and respond with purpose. This hack doesn't require any special tools. It doesn't take hours of your time. All it takes is your attention and your willingness to grow. Once you start using it, you'll begin to notice changes in how you think, how you feel, and how you interact with others. So remember this: emotional intelligence is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally wise. It's about learning to feel without being ruled by what you feel. It's about building a kind of strength that doesn't shout, but speaks loudly through calmness, confidence, and compassion. When you master your emotions, you don't just survive, you lead. You don't just react, you choose. And that choice, again and again, is what builds your future. Stay with us, because next, we're going to show you exactly how to do it. The brain hack. Observe before you react. Now let's dive into one of the most powerful tools for emotional intelligence. A simple yet life-changing brain hack. At first glance, it may seem too easy to be effective. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This technique can completely transform the way you handle your emotions. It can help you stay calm in stressful situations, stop you from saying things you'll later regret, and give you the kind of emotional control that most people never develop. This hack is not about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them, mastering them, and using them wisely. Here it is. Pause, observe, label, respond. These 4 steps may seem small, but when practiced consistently, they can rewire your brain, reshape your habits, and strengthen your emotional intelligence from the inside out. Let's break down each step so you can fully understand how and why this works. 1. Pause. This is the most important step, and also the hardest one. When something happens, when someone offends you, when you get bad news, when you feel stressed or frustrated, your brain wants to react immediately. This first reaction often comes from the emotional part of your brain, the amygdala. It's fast, it's intense, and it usually doesn't lead to wise choices. This is the kind of reaction that leads to shouting, blaming, quitting, or saying things you later regret. The solution? Don't react right away. Pause. Create a small gap between what happens and what you do next. You can count to 5, take a deep breath, step away for a moment. This short pause gives your rational brain time to catch up. It gives you power over the situation. 2. Observe. After you pause, the next step is to simply observe. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? You might notice anger, fear, shame, jealousy, sadness, or even confusion. Whatever it is, don't judge it. Just notice it. Be honest with yourself. Most people skip this step. They feel something and immediately act on it without ever understanding it. But you're different. You're learning to observe your emotions with awareness. When you do this, you stop being a slave to your feelings and start becoming their master. You create a moment of awareness where you can choose a better path. 3. Label. This is where the real magic starts to happen. Once you observe the emotion, give it a name. Say it out loud or in your mind. I'm feeling frustrated. This is anxiety. I feel rejected. It might sound silly, but research in neuroscience proves that labeling emotions actually reduces their intensity. When you name what you're feeling, your brain shifts from the emotional center to the logical center, the prefrontal cortex. This change gives you clarity. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You start feeling more in control. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room. You see things more clearly, and you realize the emotion is not as big as it felt. 4. Respond. Now that you've paused, observed, and labeled, you're ready to respond. Not react. Reaction is automatic. Response is intentional. Ask yourself, what's the smart thing to do here? What's the strong thing to do? What will I be proud of later? Maybe the right response is silence. Maybe it's walking away. Maybe it's calmly expressing how you feel. Or maybe it's doing nothing at all. Whatever the response, the key is, you are the one choosing it. The emotion isn't driving the car. You are. This is true emotional intelligence in action. If you practice this brain hack regularly, pause, observe, label, and respond, you will start to change your brain. You will rewire the neural pathways that cause emotional outbursts. Your reactions will become slower, calmer, and more thoughtful. People will notice. They'll see that you don't lose your temper like before, that you stay composed in difficult moments, that you carry a calm strength, and most importantly, you'll feel it yourself. You'll feel more confident, more peaceful, and more in control. This brain hack is not a one-time solution. It's a daily habit. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. At first, it may feel awkward. You might forget to pause. You might react before thinking. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. Just keep practicing. Even one moment of emotional control is a victory. And over time, those small victories will build a new version of you, one that is emotionally intelligent, emotionally wise, and emotionally dangerous in the best way. So remember, next time you feel triggered, don't rush. Pause. Observe. Label. And then respond. That small gap between emotion and action is where your power lives. Use it and you will own your emotions instead of letting them own you. Emotional strength is a daily practice. Emotional strength is not something you wake up with one morning. It doesn't arrive like a surprise gift or some magical change. Becoming emotionally dangerous, the kind of person who remains calm under pressure, composed in chaos, and unshaken by conflict, is something you build through daily practice. Just like building physical strength in the gym, developing emotional strength requires repetition, discipline, and patience. Every day gives you small opportunities to train. Every challenge, every difficult person, every uncomfortable feeling is a chance to grow stronger. Think of your emotions like muscles. If you don't train them, they become weak. If you don't pay attention to them, they will control you. But if you practice managing them every single day, they become a tool you can use, not a trap you fall into. For example, when someone says something disrespectful to you, you can either react with instant anger or pause, breathe, and respond with strength and wisdom. Every time you choose to respond instead of react, you strengthen your emotional muscle. You train your mind to be stable, and the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. This is how emotional strength is built, one choice at a time. You don't need big events to practice. You can do it in the small moments. When you feel frustrated in traffic, but stay patient. When you feel rejected, but remind yourself of your worth. When you're tempted to complain, but choose gratitude instead. These tiny decisions are your emotional workout. And just like lifting weights, it's not comfortable. But that's how you grow. Here's something important to understand. Your emotions are not your enemies. They are not bad. They are not something you should be ashamed of. Emotions are messengers. They give you information. Anger can show you when a boundary has been crossed. Sadness can help you slow down and reflect. Fear can protect you from danger. But if you don't know how to read your emotions, they will take control of your life. You will say things in anger that hurt people you love. You will make poor decisions from fear. You will burn bridges because of pride or jealousy. And then you'll wonder why your life feels so out of control. The key is not to suppress your emotions, but to understand them. Don't bottle them up. Don't pretend you don't feel anything. Instead, ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What do I need to learn here? Emotional intelligence is not about being emotionless. It's about listening carefully to your feelings and choosing your response with wisdom. That's what makes you powerful. Imagine how your life would change if you had this level of emotional control. You would communicate more clearly. You would be more focused at work. You would build stronger relationships. People would respect you because they'd see you don't get rattled easily. You'd become the person others turn to in times of crisis, not because you're the loudest, but because you're the calmest. And that calmness comes from daily practice. Let's be honest, most people don't do this work. They go through life reacting to every feeling that comes up. They yell when they're angry. They shut down when they're sad. They avoid responsibility when they're afraid. And as a result, they stay stuck in emotional immaturity. But you don't have to live like that. You can train yourself to respond with emotional maturity. And the good news? Every day gives you a chance to practice. So from this day forward, start small. Pick one area of your life where you often lose control emotionally. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your inner voice. Start applying the brain hack you've already learned. Pause, observe, label, and respond. Do it again and again. Even if you fail sometimes, keep trying. Because every time you succeed, even a little, you grow. Emotional strength is not built in a single moment. It is built in the daily grind of learning, choosing, and growing. It's built in the quiet, uncomfortable moments when you want to react. But instead, you rise. And that rise is what makes you powerful. That rise is what makes you emotionally intelligent. That rise is what makes you emotionally dangerous in the best way possible. The dangerous calm. Real power is silent. There's a type of strength that most people overlook. It's not loud, it doesn't seek attention, and it doesn't come with flashing lights. This strength is calm, silent, and still. It's the type of power that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. In fact, the more silent it is, the more dangerous it becomes. Real emotional strength isn't about reacting loudly or aggressively. It's about staying grounded, especially when everything around you is trying to pull you off balance. When you think of the most powerful individuals in the world, whether they are leaders, athletes, teachers, or visionaries, notice how they carry themselves. The ones who have real influence rarely lose control. They don't panic. They don't shout to make a point. They move with purpose. They speak when it matters, and when they do, every word counts. Their calmness is not weakness. It is discipline. It is the result of years of mastering their inner world. This kind of emotional control is what separates the average from the exceptional. Anyone can scream when they're angry. Anyone can lash out when they're hurt. But it takes true strength to stay composed. It takes real power to remain calm while others are losing their minds. That's the kind of strength that makes people pause and listen when you speak. That's the kind of presence that commands respect without ever needing to demand it. Now let's be clear. Calmness does not mean you don't feel anything. It doesn't mean you're numb or detached. In fact, it's the opposite. You feel deeply, but you've learned not to let those emotions control you. You understand that reacting emotionally in the heat of the moment often leads to regret. So instead of exploding, you breathe. You observe. You think. And only then do you act. This makes you dangerous, not in a violent way, but in a powerful way. You become the one who sees things clearly while everyone else is clouded by emotion. When people look at you and see that they cannot provoke you, they start to look at you differently. They realize they can't control you. That's when true respect begins. You become the anchor in the storm, the one who doesn't get pulled into the chaos. You become the one others turn to when things fall apart, because your energy feels like safety. It's important to understand that calmness is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you build. Like a muscle, it grows with consistent effort. Every time you choose not to react emotionally, you're building that muscle. Every time you pause before speaking, you are training yourself to respond with wisdom, not impulse. And over time, this becomes who you are. There's an old saying, "Still waters run deep. The quiet ones often carry the most depth. Their silence holds stories, strength, and strategy." That's the kind of power you want to build. Not the loud kind that fades quickly, but the silent kind that lasts and influences. So start today. Practice calmness not just when life is easy, but especially when it's hard. When someone disrespects you, don't react. Respond with grace. When you're frustrated, don't explode. Reflect and adjust. When others are panicking, stay centered. This is the path of real power. This is the dangerous calm. And once you master it, nobody will ever be able to break your focus or shake your spirit. Practice 3 scenarios to train your brain. Now let's make this powerful lesson practical. It's one thing to talk about emotional strength, but real growth happens in the moments when life challenges you. That's when your training begins. Below are 3 real-life situations where you can apply this mental technique and build emotional strength like a muscle. These are moments where most people react automatically, but if you pause, observe, and respond with purpose, you'll begin to see a real transformation in yourself. 1. When someone disrespects you. This is one of the most common emotional triggers. Maybe someone talks down to you. Maybe they insult you or ignore you in a group conversation. Your first reaction is likely emotional: anger, frustration, a desire to prove yourself, or even strike back with your own words. That's human. But if you give in to that emotion, they win. You hand over your peace. Instead, take a different path. Pause. Take a deep breath. Observe your internal reaction like a scientist watching an experiment. Notice the anger. Don't judge it. Just recognize it. Label it, "I feel angry." Then ask yourself, do I need to respond with the same energy they gave me? Most of the time, the answer is no. You don't need to stoop down. Silence in this moment is not weakness, it's power. Your calmness will speak louder than their disrespect ever could. You show that you are not easy to shake. This is how you train emotional dominance. Not over others, but over yourself. 2. When you feel jealous. We all experience jealousy, even if we don't want to admit it. Maybe someone else is getting the attention, opportunities, or success that you've been working hard for. It stings. Your mind might start telling you stories. They don't deserve it, or I'm not good enough. These thoughts can drag you into bitterness if you let them. But again, this is a perfect moment to practice emotional strength. Instead of letting jealousy drive you, pause. Sit with the feeling. Acknowledge it fully. I feel jealous. Then dig deeper. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Usually, jealousy is just a sign that you desire something you don't yet have. And that's okay. Use this energy. Turn jealousy into fuel. Let it show you what matters to you and let it motivate action, not resentment. Learn from the person you're jealous of. What are they doing right? What habits do they have that you can adopt? When you respond this way, jealousy becomes a teacher, not a trap. 3. When life doesn't go your way. Disappointments, failures, unexpected losses, these moments come for everyone. You don't get the job. A relationship ends. Your plans fall apart. The emotional wave hits hard. Sadness, frustration, hopelessness. And again, most people react without thinking. They give up. They complain. They blame the world. But not you. You're training your mind now. So in these moments, pause. Feel the emotion fully. Don't hide from it. Say to yourself, I feel disappointed, or I feel lost. Naming it gives you power over it. Then shift your focus to what's next. Ask, what's the next right step? What can I do right now, even if it's small? That's how you begin to rebuild from the inside out. When you train your mind to slow down, feel the emotion, and respond with clarity, you become stronger with each failure. Each loss becomes a stepping stone to a better version of you. These 3 moments, disrespect, jealousy, and failure, are not just emotional challenges. They are hidden opportunities to build your emotional intelligence and self-control. Every time you pause, observe, label, and respond, instead of reacting, you are literally rewiring your brain for strength. This is the daily practice of emotional mastery. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it is powerful. And over time, it will set you apart in a world full of emotional chaos. Keep practicing. You are becoming unshakable. Build an inner fortress. Imagine your mind as a grand fortress, strong, calm, and protected from the storms of life. This fortress is not built with stone or metal. It's built with discipline, awareness, and inner control. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you lay another brick in the wall. Every time you resist reacting impulsively and instead respond with thought and clarity, you strengthen its foundation. And every time you choose to understand your emotions rather than be ruled by them, you make that inner fortress more secure, more powerful. Building an inner fortress does not mean shutting yourself off from emotions or becoming cold. In fact, it's the opposite. True emotional strength means feeling deeply, anger, sadness, fear, joy, jealousy, love, but not being controlled or broken by those emotions. It's about standing in the middle of an emotional storm and still knowing who you are, what you value, and how you want to respond. Emotional strength is not about denying your feelings. It's about mastering your reaction to them. Think about a time when someone disrespected you or life didn't go your way. In those moments, most people react without thinking. They lash out, collapse, or seek distractions to escape the discomfort. But you're building a fortress. So you pause. You take a breath. You step back and watch the emotion rise like a wave. You feel it, you name it, and you let it pass without letting it destroy your peace. This is how your walls grow stronger. The truth is, when you develop this kind of emotional control, life starts to change. You stop fearing rejection because you understand your own worth. Someone not liking you doesn't shake you. Being left out or misunderstood doesn't break you. Why? Because your value is not something others give you. It's something you carry inside. Your self-worth is protected within the fortress you've built. You become your own source of approval, your own anchor in difficult times. You also stop chasing attention or validation from others. You don't need to prove anything, and that silence becomes powerful. When you walk into a room, your energy speaks for you. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to dominate. Your calm confidence makes you stand out. People respect those who don't seek respect, but already carry it within themselves. And when failure strikes, and it will, you don't fall apart. You don't panic. You don't say, "Why me?" Instead, you say, "Okay, this happened, what now?" You trust your ability to rise again. You learn, you adjust, you grow. This is the mindset of a warrior, not a victim. This is the thinking of someone who has built mental walls not to keep people out, but to keep their peace in. This level of strength doesn't come overnight. It's built slowly, moment by moment, decision by decision. When you pause instead of reacting, when you listen instead of yelling, when you forgive instead of holding a grudge, when you keep moving forward even when you're tired. Every one of these is a brick. Every one of these is power. So keep building. Protect your peace. Master your emotions. Stand strong in your values. And remember, you're not becoming emotionless. You're becoming unshakable. That is emotional danger. Not the kind that screams or fights, but the quiet, focused, calm presence that can't be broken, manipulated, or controlled. That's true power. And it all begins in the fortress within you. Final advice. How to start today. The journey to becoming emotionally intelligent and emotionally dangerous does not require a complete life overhaul starting tomorrow morning. You don't need to wake up and suddenly become a monk, a stoic, or a master of every emotion overnight. In fact, trying to force radical change too quickly can backfire. Instead, understand this powerful truth. Small, consistent steps can completely rewire your emotional patterns. That means your new life can begin today. Not next month, not next year, not when you're ready, but right now, exactly where you are. So, how do you begin? Start with just one situation. Pick something that normally triggers you. It could be a rude coworker, a partner who always pushes your buttons, a moment when someone cuts you off in traffic, or a time when you receive criticism. The situation doesn't have to be massive. In fact, it's better if it's something small and manageable. When that moment happens, pause. That pause is powerful. That 1-second gap is where your entire transformation begins. In that pause, do not react automatically. Instead, observe what's happening inside you. Name the emotion. I feel frustrated. I feel ignored. I feel nervous. This is what emotional labeling looks like, and it's not just some positive thinking exercise. It's neuroscience. When you label an emotion, your brain begins to shift control from the emotional part, the amygdala, to the thinking part, the prefrontal cortex. You stop the spiral before it begins. Then, choose a response, not a reaction. A reaction is automatic. A response is thoughtful. A reaction says, I'll snap back because I'm angry. A response says, I'll stay silent, think clearly, and respond with strength, not weakness. Even if you don't get it perfectly right, that's okay. The fact that you paused and tried means you are changing your mental wiring. That one moment is emotional strength in action. To build momentum, start journaling your experiences. This is a practice that most people ignore, but it is one of the most powerful tools for emotional mastery. At the end of your day, write down one moment when you felt emotionally triggered. What happened? What did you feel? Why do you think you felt that way? What was your response? What could you do better next time? When you do this daily, you begin to notice patterns, repeated emotions, thoughts, or situations that hijack your peace. Awareness is the first step to mastery. You cannot change what you do not see. Over time, you'll understand yourself more deeply than ever before. You'll start to recognize the hidden beliefs and wounds behind your emotional habits. You'll begin to see how many of your reactions were based on old pain or fear, not reality. This understanding is your power. The more you know yourself, the less others can manipulate you, trigger you, or control you. This is what it means to become emotionally dangerous, not to others, but to the chaos that once ruled you. In addition to journaling, begin reading books on emotional intelligence. You don't need to read 10 books a month. Just one good book can change your perspective. Learn from people who speak with calmness and presence. Observe how emotionally strong people handle pressure and conflict. You'll see that it's not their words that make them powerful. It's their silence, their breath, their stillness. Speaking of breath, use it. Your breath is your anchor. Whenever you feel overwhelmed or anxious, take a slow, deep breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Repeat. This activates your body's calming system and grounds you in the present. Simple? Yes. But powerful beyond belief. Finally, be patient. Emotional intelligence is not built in days or weeks. It is a quiet evolution. Growth happens slowly in the silent moments of discipline that no one sees. Every time you pause instead of react, every time you journal instead of ignore, every time you breathe instead of explode, you are building a new mind. That's how you begin. Not tomorrow, not when life gets easier, but now, with one pause, one deep breath, one act of awareness. From there, the new you starts to emerge. Strong, calm, focused, emotionally intelligent, and emotionally unshakable. Final words, you are becoming a new version of you. If you've made it this far, if you've watched, listened, or read to the end, then you've already done something powerful. You've chosen to become different. While most people walk through life reacting to everything around them, driven by impulse, stress, and fear, you've paused. You've taken the time to learn. That decision alone separates you from the crowd. You're not chasing emotional comfort anymore. You're chasing mastery, and that is the beginning of transformation. Right now, your brain is learning something new. It's learning that you don't have to let your emotions run your life. It's learning that you have a choice, even when things feel overwhelming. You are slowly stepping into a version of yourself that many never meet. The calm, focused, aware, and deeply grounded version of you. This is not about becoming cold or emotionless. It's about becoming clear, powerful, and intentional. At English Achieve, we believe that growth isn't just about learning a language. It's about becoming a stronger version of yourself. That's why we mix motivation with learning, power with practice, and stories with lessons. Because you're not just learning English, you're learning how to lead your life with strength, awareness, and discipline. And that's what will truly set you apart. So from now on, carry yourself differently. Walk into situations with calm confidence. Know that emotions don't control you. You control them. Speak less, observe more. Choose when to act and when to wait. When others break down under pressure, you'll remain still. Not because you're hiding, but because you've built something stronger inside you. You are becoming emotionally dangerous. And that kind of strength changes lives, not just yours, but everyone around you. Keep going, keep training. The new version of you is already being born, and soon the world will see it.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a new chapter. See you in the next read.